Institutions rarely fail all at once. Most systems begin deteriorating long before collapse becomes visible. Response times slow, contradictions accumulate, coordination weakens, public trust erodes. The system becomes increasingly reactive instead of strategic. This is the institutional strain model, or ISM. The model begins with a simple observation. All institutions operate within limits. They process information. They coordinate decisions. They allocate resources. They maintain legitimacy. They manage competing pressures across complex environments. But when the volume of stress, contradiction, instability, and signal overload exceeds the institution's ability to coherently process reality, strain begins accumulating internally. At first, the symptoms are subtle. Small delays, communication failures, policy inconsistency, bureaucratic fragmentation, escalating public frustration. The institution still appears functional from the outside. Budgets continue flowing. Press conferencings continue. Reports continue being published. But internally, coherence is degrading. Under sustained strain, institutions begin reallocating energy away from long-term strategic governance towards short-term stabilization and survivability. This is the critical transition. The institution stops optimizing for truth and begins optimizing for continuity. Signals that threaten stability may become suppressed. Bad news travels more slowly. Contradictions become normalized. Departments stop coordinating effectively. Decision makers become increasingly reactive. Over time, the institution becomes trapped in escalation cycles. Each emergency creates new pressures. Each pressure consumes additional institutional capacity, and the system gradually loses the ability to distinguish between temporary stabilization and genuine recovery. This is why institutional strain often produces strange behavior. Policies reverse rapidly. Public messaging becomes contradictory. Authorities appear increasingly disconnected from lived reality. Trust declines even when technical expertise still exists inside the system. Importantly, ISM does not assume that institutional actors are irrational or malicious. Very often, highly intelligent people are operating inside systems whose strain levels have exceeded sustainable processing capacity. This is why institutional decline is frequently misunderstood. Observers focus on individual failures, but the deeper problem is structural overload. The institution is no longer processing reality coherently. ISM also explains why modern crises increasingly overlap. Energy systems connect to economic systems connect to political legitimacy. Political legitimacy connects to public compliance. Infrastructure failure connects to social stability. As complexity increases, strain propagates across systems simultaneously. At sufficiently high strain levels, institutions may enter containment governance. Emergency measures expand. Temporary controls become normalized. Strategic planning narrows toward immediate stabilization. But containment has limits. A system cannot indefinitely consume future capacity in order to stabilize present instability. Eventually, institutions must either restructure, resequence, restore legitimacy, and reduce systemic overload, or strain continues accumulating beneath the surface. The deepest insight of the institutional strain model may be this: institutions rarely collapse because they encounter difficulty. They collapse because accumulated strain eventually exceeds their ability to transform reality into coherent action. This is the institutional strain model, developed through the research program of the Philosophical Intelligence Institute. A discipline, not a trend. A framework, not an opinion.